Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Banter and Chance. I'm joined with 5 very fine players, and we are going to go around the table in just a minute. But in the meantime, I wanted to say thanks to everybody for your input regarding the art that the company here is pursuing, and as much of that can come in, it's really appreciated. But I think right now we're going to get down to hearing a little bit from each of our players. We've also got a question that was posed to them before the game tonight, and that would be, if you had one treat, one candy, or something that your character would fall head over heels for, that one thing, what would it be? So we're going to start off with Luna.
Hi, I'm Luna and I play Gin. She is a human Kensei monk from Kozakura, and her favorite treat would be an ishiakimo, which is a stone roasted sweet potato.
Ooh. Sounds delicious, question mark?
It's amazing.
All right, next, Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Becca, and I play Alphabee's Grey Rook, a Shatterkai Twilight Cleric, and her favorite food is anything chocolate.
Cool. Who's next?
What's up, guys? I'm Noel. I play Rook, an ink bard / rogue, and his favorite thing is obviously rum. But if you can't get rum, we'll go with caramel-covered apples, which is the best.
Mm.
I'm Brad. I play Rogar Nerixius, the Dragonborn Paladin, and from his time in Nashville, it would be salted carp with onions.
Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Shady. I play Runt. She is a young human rogue, and her favorite food is a bug that she found when she was little, and it was beautiful. So she played with it for a little while, then accidentally killed it, and then she decided she'd taste it, and it was amazing.
That little bug, the start of a love affair with creepy crawly trees. Well, I guess we are going to get on with it. So tonight we are on episode 22, and it's entitled Little Rascals. But first, let's hit us with what happened last time on Banner and Chance. Our party is on the Sea of Fallen Stars. 3 ships were involved in a skirmish last time. The ship they were chasing, the shadows glint, and then as they moved into an area where there was no magic, they were T-boned by a rowed galley called the Stinging Nettle. The team then had to mop up after a fierce battle between the Dancing Swords crew and the Stinging Nettles crew, at which point they found a set of sarcophagi underneath in below decks. And when they opened those up at the beginning of the last session, we found 2 dusk elves. The party got to know these dusk elves briefly, but in a search of the Stinging Nettle, Runt was looking for the captain's sword, and she found it. She was able to take it off the wall in which it hung, inadvertently tripping a booby trap that began the process of scuttling that galley. Fleeing the galley, returning to the Dancing Sword, the team found that there had been trouble on board. Sharasti Amon, the captain of the Dancing Sword, had had her throat slit. And their new companion, Bees, was able to heal and bring her back from the dead. This didn't stop a confused account by the captain that it was Rook, in fact, that had slit her throat. And so most of the party was held in the captain's quarters under guard. This wasn't the first confusing thing that they had heard, though. Rogar, when he had boarded, had seen Guerella the first mate of the dancing sword run past and actually tell him that the captain's throat had been slashed. And then later, after they had gotten out of their bounds out of the captain's quarters, they were able to head downstairs in an effort to repair a sabotaged steering system. And what did they find but the remnants of the pirate crew, throats slit and murdered. This was bad enough. Until they saw that, in fact, it was Bilk Horn, who's been with them for several weeks now. Giggling and waving one of his straight razors that they've come to know as being fairly lethal. And then running up onto deck. Immediately, most of our party chased after him. Runt, Rook, and Bees. Overwhelmed finally by everything that had happened and this betrayal, Geen fell to her knees. As the rest chased Bilkorn across the decks, he mounted the rail, gave a little wave, tiny salute. As a confused Rogar and Griffaro looked on and jumped over the rail. Runt, without a second thought, dove in headlong after him. But I want to return us for a moment. Now to this moment where Bees is racing up to the rail. Her brother Rook has cast Featherfall, trying to arrest the fall of the gnome so that Runt can catch him in midair. It doesn't seem to slow. They can't see if anything's happened with this. So, Bamf, Bees, you materialize right next to the railing and you look down. What you see, besides Runt's feet just escaping your grasp, as soon as they're starting to head through the mist in the front of the boat, is a closing dimension door, a closing portal. They're gone. Griffaro immediately panics, and he runs to the center of the rail. One of the crewmen says, "Boats! Launch the boats! We must retrieve them!" You hear Griffaro say, "Screw the boats! Bring me a harpoon!" Bees, what do you do?
So, well, I'm going to start off by dropping my invisibility spell so that they can see me, and I'm going to holler over to Griffaro not to shoot because it's going to be absolutely pointless. And then, has Rook reached me by now?
He is mere feet away at the small stairs leading up to the forecastle, the raised portion of the deck where you stand.
Okay, so I will turn around and call to him and say, "Go and get the paladin and find the monk. We have a problem."
One of the paladins is next to you. That would be Griffaro. And Rogar, you are just next to the mainmast. So Rook, he's standing about 15 feet behind you.
Yeah, I'll turn around and point at Rogar and be like, "Go help my sister." And then I'll run in to try and find Geen.
One of the crewmen, he overhears what you say, B, and he calls up to the captain. "She says he's not in the water." "What do you mean?" He turns to you.
They went through a dimension door. We need to find them. Is there anybody on the ship who can find them?
Memberas, who is one of the wizards that has been working with the ship, is indeed there, and he steps forward and he says, I can help. "Captain, it's a dimension door." Shirasti Amon calls down from the quarterdeck. "Find that blasted gnome now! and you can see that he begins to cast. At this point, you're about 900 yards or so behind the Shadow's Glint. And almost immediately, I mean, the Dancing Swords crew have already begun to climb the mainmast and prepare to raise the mainsail again. But the two other sails are full of wind as the other magic casters are continuing to provide magical assistance for the pursuit. Memberas is casting, and he focuses his attention on the Shadow's Glint. But soon you can see him sort of turn as his senses inform him, and he begins to move himself. He actually moves his entire body and turns 180 degrees around, and then he's sort of sensing, and he looks up at the captain, who's now come midships with you, Rogar. The gnome is here, he says. He's here. We're downstairs in the hold. Bodies litter this space. And Geen, we see you on your knees.
Just on the floor, silent tears, looking at nothing.
The silence is overwhelming. You begin to hear a scratching sound. Catches your ear. Your attention is focused past some lantern light and about midship before you can see where the mainmast descends into the decks. You see a small trapdoor with leather hinges and a small square-tipped blade coming through this gap, this trapdoor, which appears locked, and cutting away 2 leather hinges. And as it slices through the last one, you hear a small grunt. Ga-thump. And the trapdoor is swung back. And stealthily, 2 small gnome elbows come onto the main deck and pull a small body who you're familiar with, who you just saw run away, silently up into the hold. He's facing away from you at this point.
It's just him?
It's just
Or-
Bilk.
I pull an arrow. And I get closer.
You stalk closer as he sits up on the side, raises his head, and looks up at you. And for a minute, a flash of guilt crosses his face.
How could you?
They were bad people.
And the crew?
They deserved what they got.
I let it go.
Foom. What are you aiming for?
His shoulder right here.
He's knocked back and is pinned to the deck. What? Why? What are you doing?
I pull another one.
I'm your friend. I don't understand. And he's clawing at the one arrow, trying to get it free.
I trusted you.
What are you talking about? You know you can trust me, Geen. And he begins to pull it out. can hear the arrow begin to come free as he begins to sit up. He's now starting to try to pull it through his flesh. Why? Why are you doing this?
Why did you do it?
I told you. They're bad people. You're good people, right?
I let the other fly.
It now hits him in the other shoulder, pinning him back. Now he has one that's out of the wood, but in his shoulder, and one that's... Why? Keen, this doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
Runt. You pass through, expecting to hit water, but instead, for a moment, you feel you see a flash as you pass by Bilk's body, falling in just, the briefest of moments. And then you crash onto the deck of a ship, a deep hold of a ship. It's lit by torch and lantern light. And you can see as you're on your back prone, you can see that that the dimension door above you is closing, and just for the briefest moment, you get the sense that you're being watched, but you don't see anything else. Bilk's form is tumbling in midair as he sort of rights himself and starts to head down, feet extended. As soon as your eyes adjust, you're sitting among rows of children. The two children that you've landed between are looking confused, wondering where you came from. One is very young, maybe 8 years old. The other's about your age. And she says, "Be quiet. Stay here." And they both kind of part a little ways and then kind of pull you along to sit you down next to them. You're in the middle of 3 rows. There are 10 children in each row. Their wrists are loosely tied, but you can see around each of their feet that a gleaming, semi-transparent green shackle surrounds each ankle, and then has a green glowing chain that extends from child to child to child. Descends into the wood. Some of the children are crying. Some of them are scared. But this only holds your attention for a moment, as you can see most of them now, their eyes are fixed upwards. You see Bilk. It's his back to you, floating in midair, righting himself, and then corkscrewing down to the floorboards. And he sits carefully, his feet landing on the boards in front of him. As he does land, his form changes, elongates, thickens, takes on a blue hue, takes on a very feminine form. The hair lengthens slightly. Almost the size of Geen, actually. But the clothes that materialize are much more scant and tight-fitting. There's a guard facing you, but his attention has been solely on this form coming down. And as she lands, she brushes herself off casually, straightens her clothing a little bit, then looks up at him, and his mouth is just hanging open. "You there? Why don't you go tell Captain Nightshade that Chishioa is here? Tell him Chishi is here, please. Right now. Hurry along." He closes his mouth, tips an imaginary hat for a moment, and then races up the stairs. She goes over to the raised table at which he was sitting and begins to thumb casually around food on a tin plate, looking as if there's something to eat. But it's just dried crusts, and so she casts it onto the floor in disgust. And then her eyes begin to scan over the youngest of the children in these rows, licking her lips. Roll a stealth check for me, please, Ron.
Ooh.
And tell me how she would find you.
I'm gonna pull the old hood up and try to look as inconspicuous as possible. 19.
Her eyes pass over you. She her eyes settle on one of the younger children at the end of the row. Young boy. But soon you hear a crashing of feet upstairs and some muffled words. A large man comes downstairs. He's got a map under one arm. Shishio. What a surprise. To what do I owe the honor of a visit from one so beautiful, so distinguished in the servant of our master? Oh, Nightshade, sweetie, haven't you learned already? Flattery can get you nowhere. She begins to circle him, a sharp fingernail tracing the line of his jaw as she goes behind him, and he straightens nervously. What I like is results, Captain, and it seems like you haven't made your delivery yet. And on top of all of that, you're being chased by the dancing sword? I should know. I was just there. But Nightshade, haven't you heard? I just hit a little bit of a snaggy poo. I guess I appreciate your help. What in the hells were you doing on the dancing sword? More bad news for you, I'm afraid. I was tracking the Grey Rooks. 3 months I was tracking the Grey Rooks, and I would have had them too if it wasn't for that drunk, imbecile Krenz. If that dancing sword hadn't shown up, I'd have them both now. Ah, poor little Nightshady. Things don't look too good for you. You've cost us time, and now you've cost us the Rooks. Don't fret. I'll make your death painless. I'll even sing you a nice song. Captain backs away from this. Runt. You're able to hear this clearly. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Not yet.
No, Chishio, don't blame me. We were told to rendezvous with Krenz. We were told to rendezvous in the Maw of all places, and you know nothing goes well there. We had to take on that damn cargo, whatever it was. The last few months, the last year, who can succeed with all this disorder? New orders just arrived right before we departed. This trip has been trouble from the start. I tried to warn... I tried to warn Penny. She and her crew were getting sloppy. Harrowdale was alert. We were drawing suspicion. No wonder we were followed. Shite. You're lucky. Nightshade, I've slowed them down. Or Captain Aemon would have already had you. It was exquisite, I tell you, to take the form of that traitor and draw my blade across her neck. You should have seen the look in her face. The tillers, the sail lines, they weren't nearly as fun. But I made up for it with what was left of Krenz's crew. You know what I say, find a job you like doing and nothing will ever feel like work. You won't work a day in your life, no matter how many days you've got left, Nightshade. Thanks for the advice, Chishi. A crew member comes downstairs. Marcus, do we still have the weather gauge? Keep it on our side. Yes, Captain. But the sword is getting organized. Keep an eye on them. He takes his map, he looks down at it, and he doesn't seem to be too eager to be close to this blue vixen, so they begin to walk down further into the hold to the back of the ship, Runt. You can hear their voices as they're saying stuff that's a little bit quieter, seeking some privacy. They're walking down towards two double doors. They have amber windows mounted in each, and you can see a flickering candlelight in behind these windows. The whole time, the blue woman is kind of pestering him and stalking him like a cat would chase a bird. They're moving 10, 20 feet now beyond the edge of the kids, and they're starting into these doors. Would you like to do anything?
I would like to unlock the little... Are we in a cage at all?
No,
or just change the...
You are in the middle of the deck, the lower decks of this boat.
Okay. Double checking.
You can see that there's barrels and there's crates around that are lining the walls, but for the most part, there is this. The children are right in the middle of this deck.
Okay.
You and these golden these green shackles descend, sort of fade into the woodwork and then come back out again.
Okay. And I'm gonna stealth along behind them to try and get a listen to what they're talking about.
They go into these two doors, but on either side you can see that there is a sort of a heavy canvas curtain that fills the space around the square frame of these doors, where the ship's walls are curved. This curtain is covering that space.
Can I peek behind the curtain?
Which one would you like to go, left or right?
Left.
Left. When you go in, you can see that the curtain wall, you can pull it through. The door looks like the wall itself looks like it's meant to be removed quickly if it has to be. But it does continue, so you're sort of in this weird little room. Towards the end of the room, you see that there's another curtain, a sort of a curtain, stretched curtain that can be pulled apart to be stepped through. But immediately in front of you, what you see is the back wall of the boat. This little corridor is about 10 feet long. The back wall of the boat with a tiny little window like this. There's an unlit candle hanging from the ceiling, and there is the ship's head, a seat with a hole in the middle of it. This is actually a toilet that you were in that is accessible, not maybe intentionally from the main storeroom, but can also be accessed from the captain's quarters. And now you can hear their voices as the captain goes and sits. You can hear a chair pulling back and someone occupying it, and a smaller pair of footsteps continuing to pace around the room.
I'm just listening.
Now tell me, Nighty Poo, what's your plan to save your own neck? Well, mistress, I like Shirasti. She's a good captain. But since she's gone clean, I guess I won't miss her too much. Here, and he unrolls the map. I'll tell you what I've got in mind. I would like you to... do you maybe just tell me how you're sitting in this room, or are you just listening through the curtain? Is that
through the curtain? Yeah.
Okay. There's always a little bit of fog around the island. You can hear him pointing and moving around the map with his finger. With a low moon tonight, we'll lose the sword before Mincemeat Cove. He points at the map. This is us here. You can see we're heading towards Bottlebeak. That reef, it'll tear a hull apart. And when we hit the fog, we'll douse our lights. We'll cut starboard, make a sharp right, and glide into the cove. If we're lucky, Sharasti and her crew will glide right by, and if we're really lucky, they'll tear their ship open. And that'll be them done. Oh, that's almost gratitude. I hope it works for you. Anyway, I need to now backtrack and pick up the siblings, so I guess you owe me one. But before I head out, it's hard for me to resist such tender lovelies like those that you've got in the hold. Nightshade and the hags wouldn't miss a finger or a toe here or there, would they? Would you join me, Captain? Gross. You don't know what you're missing. The meat is tender, and the meat is sweet. You wait until the hags are done with them, then you'll have your fill. Look, we're late. I need to get these kids where they need to go, to the sisters. And then he points again to the map. War Chief Nukin. Nukin needs these 30. He's got 30 new recruits, and he's going to need the hag's handiwork. There's a knock on the door. Captain, swords on us again. She's got her sails up, sir. I can see Shrasti's on the deck. She's got her crew, thin as they might be, organized. I think we're in trouble there, Captain. Blast! You told me you took care of her. It must have been that bitch of a light wielder. Tell the crew. Hey, Marcus, you tell the crew. Be ready to douse the lights. Look, with a bit of fog and a low moon tonight, we'll swing into Mincemeat Bay and there. They won't even know what they missed. I don't want to be followed. Chishi, you want to join me on deck? I have to see to this myself. Runt, you hear the captain's chair scrape back. The door remains open for a moment. You can hear 3 pairs of footsteps head down out of the room, and the door shut behind you.
Right. Okay, so I want to go into the captain's quarters and look for anything that looks like it might set these kids free.
In his quarters, you see a couple of things. You see a map that's on the table. You see a set of 2 bronze keys. There's a empty bottle of wine or rum.
Okay.
Other than that, and this isn't so much quarters as it is some sort of a captain's mess. Okay. It's a table with several chairs around it and glass windows that open to the back of the boat. And there, in the dusklight, you can actually see just off in the distance the dancing sword.
Okay. I want to. Is there any candlelight in here or a lantern or something?
In the fading light of the day, you can see that as he left, he had doused the lantern that was on the hanging from the ceiling.
Okay.
Or had snuffed it out.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take the map.
Okay.
And pocket that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start tearing it up into pieces.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start.
Are you going to look at it before you do, or just let it rip? Okay.
I'm just ripping it and
Ripping it up.
and then eating the pieces while I'm doing it. And
'Kay.
exploring a little bit more. I'm going to take the keys.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to grab the empty bottle.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'm going to walk out the direction I saw them go.
Okay. You can see down the corridor is sparsely lit with lantern light. They are no longer there. The kids are still on the floor. There's the faint green glow of the manacles, and there is now a guard once again sitting at the desk. He looks like he's fairly bored once again. His eyes were sort of following the captain up the stairs, and now he's taken to, picking his teeth with a short knife.
Okay. So I'm gonna try and sneak up to him. Actually, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to very loudly, while I'm holding this bottle, slump to the floor and stagger back up.
Okay.
Like I'm completely sloshed holding this bottle.
Okay. The guard straightens up in his chair and kind of gets down in a low wince as he's looking down towards this noise. Who's there?
Hey, buddy! It's me!
He looks around. The kids are all manacled. He starts to head towards you. I don't know you. Are you a friend of the blue ones? And he comes close.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, hey, I'd hate to drink alone. Do you want some of this?
I don't mind if I do, I guess. And he takes the bottle from your hands. Hey! And it's empty. What?
Sorry, hey, do you know where we can get some more?
I've had my ration of grog.
You have it rationed? Who rations grog?
Who are you?
I told you, I'm with Cheat Sheet.
Cheat sheet. What are you?
The blue lady?
From up above, you can hear the captain's orders. All of you, rig for silent running, he says. Get ready to douse the lights as soon as we swing into the bay.
Oh, shit, we got to move, we got work to do.
I'm here to guard these whelps.
Oh, I can do that.
Hey, you can't be older than 12 or 13.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah. I've never seen one of you get free before, but he grabs you by the back of the arm.
Whoa, hey, what's with all the hostilities?
Now you're gonna come and you'll sit with the rest. And he starts to drag you towards the...
Oh, you're gonna be in trouble. The blue lady? Oh, she's gonna get you.
We'll see about that. And he begins to haul you
We'll see about that. Yeah, let's go. You take me.
So, do you want to resist as he's hauling you down towards the... Okay. I'd like you to roll charisma, please.
You could be in so much trouble.
14.
He seems to pause for a moment. You sit down here, and he pushes you down sort of roughly back into the middle of this pile of kids. We'll see what she says when you come down here, but in the meantime,
we are gonna see what she says. I hope you don't like your eyeballs.
From over your shoulder, what are you doing? Be quiet.
Shh. I'm working here, okay, kids? Shut up.
I'm trying to keep them calm, but they're scared.
But that blue lady's going to eat you all.
What? I'm scared, Mercy. And this little boy is pulling at her shoulder. I don't want to. I'm scared. They keep saying that Nanny Bertha and her sisters are going to have us for dinner.
Yeah, probably. But I'm trying to save you. So, shut down, shut up, and maybe I can fix this.
What are you going to do? Says the older one. She's your age.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop answering your stupid questions. Let me rock.
back in the hold of the dancing sword, we have Bill Corm. He's pegged to the back of the to the bottom of the deck, to the deck. Upstairs, Membraras has been following his locate person, and he's racing towards the staircase. What are the Rook and Bees? Griffaro seems very interested in following him. Rook, Bee, Rogar, what are you doing as you see?
I am running behind him and smacking him and going, not the gnome, the kid. Because I didn't want him to look for I could care less about Billick. I want to find Run.
I think we need to find the traitor first, don't you?
Forget him. Find the kid.
But he's right here.
Don't care. Find the kid.
Captain's orders, he says.
Don't care. Find the kid.
And the captain is there now, and she says, "Where do you sense him? He's right below us, sir." She turns on her heel and she begins to go towards the staircase and starts to descend into it. He's stopped for the moment. Rogar, Rook, you see him break away from you see the captain break away from this conversation and head downstairs. Do you want to do anything?
I was going after Geen.
So you're heading with the captain then?
Yeah.
Okay, Rogar?
Following along.
Okay, you're with Rook. B?
I'm still trying to get him to find Runt.
All right. From below, you hear, "What is this?" You can hear the captain's voice echoing up the stairs. And he drops his locate person and sort of just staring there, and then he kind of looks up at you.
Pure fury on my face. And I look at him and go, find the kid.
Runt. Right. I played dice with Runt. Okay. And he runs back to the rail and he begins to cast again. And he's not sensing anything below him, and then his sense of locate person has got him running towards the front of the ship and back onto the forecastle. And he says to you, "She's there. She's on the glint."
I am booking it downstairs to get everybody else.
Okay.
And saying, hold that.
All right. Geen, you are hunched over Bilk's body, arrows protruding from his shoulders with 2 precision shots.
I'm staying like however many feet away I was, and I've got a third one knocked, but
Okay.
I'm not letting it go yet.
Sounds good. So you're 6 or 7 feet away and you're just point blank right. You've got him covered. The captain is standing on the stairs, and as she sees this scene, you hear her say, "What is this? What is this?" And she comes down onto the deck and she races down to stand by your side. What's going on here? Rook and Rogar, you've reached the bottom of the landing now, and you're seeing her talk to Geen. Geen, go ahead.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just staring at Bill. I'm ignoring the captain. I don't care about her.
Okay. She looks back at you, Rook, and then she puts a hand to her sword and she begins to withdraw a curved blade. And then she sort of looks at you, Rogar, and then back down to Bilk. And she takes 1 step forward.
Toward Bilk or
Bilk.
toward? Okay.
Towards Bilk. Bilk is squirming. He looks absolutely feverish and terrified.
Can I beeline it past the captain and run toward Bilk if he's still kind of squirmed, stuck to the wall?
He's stuck to the floor. His legs are at the knee. His legs are still dangling in the bilge hold.
Okay, yeah, I'll run past the captain to get to him if I can.
Sure. So you can run sort of around the door and head to his like sort of behind him at his shoulders. Rogar, you're right next to the captain at this point, or right next to Geen anyway, as the captain is advancing.
Wait a moment. Wait. I can clear this up. Everyone stand still.
As you're saying that, the captain sort of looks at this strange predicament. She's now standing opposite the bilge door, looking at Bilk. Rogar to her right, Geen to her left, and behind her. Her eyes glance down, and she starts to scream. And this moaning, Guerrilla! And she drops her sword and she jumps feet first into the bilge. And then you can see her, because the bilge has a measure of water in it, you can see her grab a body and turn it over, and now she's cradling the body of Guerrilla, the halfling purser, first mate, in her arm, and you can see that her throat is slit and her head is kind of lulled strangely backwards with her with water that was in her mouth now sort of draining through, washing the blood from the incision, and her eyes are just looking up lifelessly.
Can I look at the captain that's next to Gorilla and then look back at Bilk and just raise an eyebrow? Like, I'm just basically wondering, did you do this? Like, I'm just like...
He's looking straight up at you, sort of over his eyebrows, like you're behind him. And he's not really motioning or saying anything. And then he kind of flashes a glance to you, Geen, and then to you, Rogar.
And can I look at the top of his head? Is it got like any kind of lump on it or anything? And also his wrists, does it have any evidence of ropes or manacles or anything?
No, there's no sign of any kind of manacles. You do see bruising around his sort of shoulder where the arrows have entered. You can see a large bruise raised on one elbow that's exposed, and you don't see any sign of any staining other than, his hair is wet and he looks sort of cold, and there's some dirt and scuff around his face. But
I'm just gonna whisper to him, like, if you don't want to die, start telling the truth, man. Slowly.
And
then I'll look over at Rogar, waiting for him to be like,
I was dropped. I was asked to look after the prisoners. There was a commotion, something about the captain's quarters. They told me to keep an eye on them. They were all tied over there. I heard someone come down the stairs. There was a commotion. I got scared. I saw this door. I opened it. I jumped in. I saw the body of Guerrilla. And then somebody locked the door and I couldn't get out. And then I heard screams. I heard screams above. And I've been here ever since. And I thought maybe I could revive her or something. But when I heard it go quiet, I thought I would sneak out. So the hatch was locked, but I was able to cut the hinges with one of my razors. I don't know where my other razor is.
shit.
Standing between everyone, I'll balance my hands as though part of a scale and cast Zone of Truth.
Okay. Oof.
What is that?
Zone of Truth.
Wisdom save?
It is a charisma save.
Charisma.
Have I
Um,
reached them yet?
Charisma 14.
I failed.
Okay.
I failed too.
I'm just gonna whisper to myself. Usotsuki.
I don't know what
Rogar,
that means.
help me.
Liar.
Does he pass or fail? It matters.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had to ask him a direct question.
No.
Yes, everything he said is true.
No. Okay. Because if he passes, he can lie, and I know that he's lying.
Okay.
He's telling the truth.
He told me they were bad people, and he did it.
They were bad people. They came over from the boat. When those guards went upstairs, they told me that they were going to throttle me and kill me, and that orc said that he was going to squash me. I'm not unhappy they're dead.
Dean, stop using this. Start using this. Hey, little man, you're missing a razor blade, right?
I am.
Does it strike you odd that that lady down there is cut like a razor blade?
She was cut when I got here. She was cold. She'd been long cold. I don't know. I can't say anything about that. I thought she was up on deck. She was on deck when we came back over the rail. I came straight down here. I didn't see her. I got pushed in this hole, and there she was.
Can I look at the captain and be like, so does this let me off the fucking hook? Or what? He's still going to throw me in irons?
The captain's hardly speaking. Tears are streaming down her face. Guerrilla was more to me than you can know. And I saw your face as you sliced me with a razor just like that.
Where the hell's my sister?
I don't know what you're saying. She was my friend. She was more. We've been together for years. She was my partner in all things.
Have I made it down there? Am I hearing any of this or no?
I think you're still up. That's up to you. You received information. You said you were booking it downstairs, so yes, by this time you're down.
Okay. So I'm going to burst in and be like, we have an even bigger problem now. And I'm going to look at Rogar and Geen and be like, your friend is on the other ship.
Only some of this is registering with the captain, who is trying to push the body up and is asking, sort of motioning for your help, Rogar, as she's trying to bring Guerrilla up and pull herself out of the hold.
Prior to that, I will reach out with 2 clawed fingers and put my fingers on the tip of the arrow and slowly begin to push down.
I'm resisting.
Okay.
Resisting.
All right. I don't think there'll be a strength check, but
yeah, I will fail.
Yeah, but she is not happy about this. So, well, I shouldn't say that, Geen. I guess you're not cooperating. So it's sort
I'm
of
not listening to what anyone has been saying. My focus is on build. So whatever B, the captain, Rook, anybody says, in one ear, out the other.
Okay. So you're meeting resistance, Rogar.
He's telling the truth.
I saw his face. He killed those people.
He didn't. There's no way he can lie.
I trusted you. Throw my stuff down and go up deck.
You're losing your bow and your
No, I'm like putting my arms down.
Oh, sorry.
Not
I
throwing
thought
it
you
to the
might
ground.
throwing to the ground. Okay.
No.
All right. You turn on your heel and up you go.
I'll take Guerella's body in an arm and make my way over to where Rook is and hold him down This is going to hurt for a moment.
I'll
So-
hold down the gnome with my -1 strength.
Okay. Yeah. He's looking up at you timidly.
Maybe I take one of the daggers that's on my calf and put it toward his mouth. I should probably bite down on this slab.
Okay.
And it's on 3. 1, 2, rip, rip. 2 arrows come out. At the exact
Blood
same
just goes-
time, I will heal for the amount
Son
of
of a
damage done.
bitch! And he
Lay on hands.
starts to cry, and then he cowers around you and grabs onto one of your legs and is trying, as almost as a child that was really frightened would, is burying his head in your robes, essentially.
It's okay, Doc. It's okay.
No, this is all well and good, but your friend's on the ship that you're looking for.
Shit.
He looks up and he goes, Rook? Where's Rook?
I'm right here.
Oh, I mean Runt. Where's Runt?
On the other ship.
Yeah.
We got a problem.
He looks up at you, Rogar, and he says, we gotta get her. These are
How
bad.
did she,
These are
how did
bad
she
people,
get on the other
Rogar.
ship? I
There
thought she went
was-
into the water.
There was a dimension door, and the wizard said that she's on the other ship just now. So we got to get up there and get her.
Runt. We are back on the other ship as they get themselves organized. The crew continues to fight for every yard or to try to maintain a lead over the dancing sword. The lights are still on right now. You understand, as one of the hands has come down to instruct the guardsman that you're dealing with, that he's to wait for the order and then douse the light, but not before. Everybody is running fairly silently up top. You can hear that there's very little commotion going on upstairs, and it feels tense. A similar scene on the Dancing Sword, as the crew of the sword is peeling their eyes in the darkness for the silhouette of the glint, really paying attention anytime they get a little flash of a candle or a lantern light, and trying to mark it. The mainsail is back up in record time now, as nothing was so terribly damaged that it couldn't be rehung. And they are under full steam, and they are just racing, and you can feel that the distance is closing. Membaris is still there, tracking Runt's signature. And this is what you see as you emerge onto the deck of the ship. Runt, here you are among the children, and you hear the captain say, "Stand ready."
Do any of these keys work?
When you attempt to use the keys on the shackles, you see that the shackles have no keyhole. In fact, the keys themselves just hit the child's flesh and sort of pass through the shackle. It doesn't actually hit anything, like it doesn't feel corporeal, it just hits their flesh, but the child's leg acts as though there's something physical holding it. Some physical restraint. It's very clear to you that these shackles are a fully magical constraint.
And what's the guard doing?
The guard is keeping an ear to the upstairs. He doesn't seem too concerned, as his attention is really on what the next order is going to be.
Okay. Well, is there anywhere I can dip off to where he's not going to notice because he's staring upstairs?
You can. He's got a single candle now on his desk. That's what's providing the light. The rest of the hold is largely under shadow. Shadows. The candlelight is flickering, and so it's sort of casting shadows of the children, and they're all sitting up on the row on row, right? The length of the ship.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm gonna try to sneak up behind this dude.
Okay. Let's go ahead and roll your stealth check, please.
Ooh, 25.
Yeah. So he rolled a 3. So he's like picking his nose, looking up the. Okay, and you are right behind him,
Okay.
behind this bar stool.
I want to try and shove my bone dagger through the back of his throat all the way through so that if he screams, it gets cut off.
Okay. Also, because he had thrown you to the ground, we're going to say that he's an obvious aggressor. Okay?
Yes. Obviously.
Go ahead.
That is a 16.
Yep. Each 12. Go on.
Okay. And that is the 12, 13, 17.
Which one are you attacking with, out of curiosity?
The left.
And what's the magical properties of the left again?
The left one is the Dagger of Silence.
It indeed, although it was not cast, is the Dagger of Silence. As blood fills his mouth, he sort of, his eyes lower and look to you, and he gurgles. As you've sort of, the end of your dagger kind of forms like it's gone up the center of his tongue, and it's holding it off like a weird sock puppet. As then the dagger comes through it, and he's got a tongue kebab, and then you withdraw it, and he begins to fall to the floor.
Okay. Let me see. I'm going to. What's on the desk?
The desk doesn't really contain much. There's really nothing there. There's a single playing card, and this small dagger that he had been picking his teeth with.
Okay. Does he have anything on him at all?
Yep. He is carrying a hand axe, and he's also got, it's a small small throwing axe and a cutlass.
That is not helpful. Okay, then I am going to kind of sneak up the stairs and do one of these.
Okay, you look up the stairs. You can see you're emerging from. You're just looking up, and you can see that most eyes are back on the dancing sword. It's at this point that you hear the captain say, "We're almost at the bay. We're almost at the bay. Pass the word. Douse the lights." On the dancing sword, as your eyes are straining with the rest of the crew, trying to catch any sound that might give them away, trying desperately to follow this the shape as you head towards this island that's on the starboard side of both of you. And a thick blanket of fog is now extending out. Although the fog itself is fairly light, it seems to surround the entire island. And you're straining to keep sight of this silhouette. And you can kind of keep tracking 2, 3, 4 pinpricks of light as you're getting closer and closer and closer, and then all of a sudden the light is gone. And you hear very little in front of you. Membaris is still tracking Runt's signature. Geen, you're back up on deck, and you see everybody intently looking at the shadows.
I'm not paying attention to anybody.
Okay.
I'm just angry.
Okay. Where do we find you on the boat, just so everyone knows?
I just head to straight out from where the door was, and maybe like 10 feet, and I'm just looking at the floor of the deck.
Sure. So you're sort of 10. You're close to
shaking
at that point. Yeah. You can hear there's silence around, and you can hear a couple of things. Most of you can hear this. That's the island of Bertha. That's the island of Bertha. We're not supposed to travel too close to that place. Strange things in the fog here. Membaris looks up and he says, Captain, the turning. The captain is hardly paying attention. Captain, they are turning.
I'm gonna walk. Am I up there too as well? Are we up all at the top there?
Yep, you're there.
I'm
hear
gonna.
this.
I'm gonna.
The captain seems stunned at this point.
Yeah, I'll go put my hand on the left shoulder of Membaris and just be like, "You're not gonna get anything out of her right now."
Tell the wheel. We've got to stop or slow, but they are cutting hard. Hard to larboard. Yep, for sure. And you can see his hands begin to coast.
Yep, follow. As close as you can get.
Tell the wheel, he says.
Yeah, I start yelling, or not yelling, but like running to where whoever's on the wheel and being like,
okay, it's the pilot. He's there.
I'm taking control. The captain's out of sorts. I don't care who's in charge. It doesn't matter at this point. Follow that fucking ship. Get close. One of your own crew's on there.
He looks at Membaris' hands and he says yes. And you can see his hands first go to the left, and then suddenly they go back to the right. And he goes, no, starboard.
Are they making like immediate right turn?
They've made an immediate left to spin off speed and an immediate right to keep some momentum, but now be slowing down. And then they've done a hard starboard, so they've gone like this. Woof.
Drop the anchor on the starboard side, keel haul.
Okay, so they're still 300-400 feet above you, beyond you, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like this, and they've turned that way. So
yeah, so it's like, and my camera's off, so just a second. So if is there anything better? Oh yeah, I got stickers. Boat 1, boat 2. These would be great. Okay.
I would rather be parallel to them than right behind them. So if they're taking a sharp right, I'd rather turn right first and then catch if I can.
Okay, so they've spun up. They were way out in front. They spun off speed. They spun off speed.
Yeah.
Feed. This is going to be reversed for you.
Yeah, of course.
Gone this way,
so,
right?
Yeah.
And you've now you've dropped anchor and you begin to grind hard this way. And as soon as the anchor hits whatever rocks are down below, you feel the boat begin to lurch, and the anchor suddenly catches, and the boat is
hold on,
grinds, and all of you, I want you to make deck saves, please, as the boat catches suddenly, and the back end of the boat begins to swing hazardously with the front right dipping into the water, kind of as it strains against its anchor chain, and the boat is
anyone near me at 3.
Okay, everyone is more or less near you. Geen is probably Rook is the farthest away. Geen is within. If you're at the front, Geen is within
I just stood
25
10 feet from the door.
10
Of
feet
where
from the
we're-
door, 40-foot ship, 10 feet from the door. Say she's 20. You're right midships, basically. Rogar, you're 15 feet ahead of her. Okay, 35 feet ahead of Rook. Right.
Add 3.
Well, I got a natural 20, so plus 3, and my save is 29.
Yeah, you just don't even notice. You just sort of like Velcro to the
I have
thing.
26, so I'm with you there.
Okay.
I am exhausted and have a 9.
Mind you,
All
I'm
right.
still out of it. I haven't noticed Runt's missing.
B, you are. I gotta find my shit. You find it hard to hold on, and you begin to skitter past Rogar and hit the rail hard, and fall over and hit the water. Goosh.
Wait, you're over the boat? Ooh.
Yeah. The boat now is listing and turning around. It's actually going to run you over. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I want you to go ahead and I would say that this is probably
Gonna hurt.
it's going to hurt.
It's gonna run her over? It's gonna run her over?
You can
gonna hurt.
because she's fallen off the tip.
Oh, okay.
She's fallen off the nose, and now the ass end is swinging around hard. What do you want to do? You want to dive down? You want to try to
Yeah,
swim
I'm
out of the
gonna
way?
try and dive down
All right, go for it.
because I can swim.
I'm sure we've done this before. You probably
Make it athletics, and we'll just see if you can avoid being
okay.
literally keyhole.
Well, that's a 15, so
All right, so you begin to swing down. You're going to take half damage. This is severe abrasions from rough wood, barnacle, and a heavy thump that knocks you. But you don't lose your breath, so you're able to ascend. But you're going to actually take 8 points of bludgeoning damage, please, and get some pretty nasty scrapes.
Sorry. Get down there.
And you're not actually sucked under the boat, right? So you're sort of you're sort of able to free yourself, but you're kind of carried along for a bit. Luckily, you're not close enough to the direct shore. But as the boat spins around and as you emerge, given you have no lantern light or anything around you, you are the first to catch sight of the shore. Okay?
okay.
On that shore stands a young girl. Runt. There was a sudden left turn and a sudden right turn, and the boat was slowing down. You could hear movement then on board. You could hear anchor chains spinning, and the boat started to slow, and then the anchors were actually raised again, and you heard a lot of motion, feet jumping over the side, lines being thrown, and suddenly the boat is at a standstill.
While I'm peeking here, I'm
Yeah.
trying to look for something that is explosive or something I could light on fire.
There are several lanterns and whatnot mounted in around, hanging in people's hands. You don't see any like smoke powder or anything like that. There's nothing in the immediate vicinity that catches your eyes as sort of highly flammable, save probably these lanterns, right?
And they're not lit.
They're not lit right now unless you're carrying anything that could potentially yeah, they're not lit, but they are most of them are in hands, I would say.
Okay.
And it's very dark up top at this point.
Okay. Do I see the blue lady anywhere?
Yep, she's up on the end of the boat, and you can hear the captain say, "Did anyone see them? They must have gone right past. I heard them panic." But if they didn't join us in the mouth of this bay,
I want to try to sneak up on her.
the blue lady. Okay, you are emerging sort of 2/3 of the way, 1/3 of the way forward in the boat. There's a staircase on either side of you. And you can see that the captain and the blue lady and about 6 crew are up top. The main deck has no less than about, I would say, an additional 8 crew on it. There is other noises around on the main boat. There's people up in the rigging taking, like, furrowing sails and basically causing, making the boat stop and tying everything up and doing what sailors do in order to lash a boat to a dock. And all of this has happened fairly suddenly, right?
So I'm just going to try and stealth my way over to her.
Okay. I just need a second. There we go. Chishioa. Her silver hair. Let's see what her... Okay, go ahead and roll stealth, please.
Oh, 17.
You have inspiration.
Yeah.
You won't need it. You won't need it by a hair. She seems intent to, and she's talking to the captain again. She says, "Let's get them unloaded and up to the sisters. They need to do their work and I need to eat." The captain turns around and says, "Unload the kids. Get them on the trail."
I want to try and I'm going to try and put my dagger like to her spine and see how she reacts to it. Just a little poke, like a don't move.
Okay. Chishioa, the Oni, stands ready to take your blade. Go ahead and roll attack.
I'm not attacking her. I just want to.
You don't want to. You just want to poke her a bit.
Yeah, to get her attention. Like a freeze, bitch.
Don't move.
Okay. Go ahead and poke her, and I guess we want to roll intimidate.
Sure. Where is that? Oh, it's gonna be a -1 to whatever I roll. So 18. Inspo.
Okay. Just give me 1 sec. Where is it? There we go. Okay. $17. She feels immediately threatened. Glances around and turns to gaseous form.
Oni, man.
Is the gas still there? Like, do I get the
Gas.
sense that if I talk, she can hear me?
The gas is still there, and yeah, you would get the sense that this wispy, but she's turning and she's regarding you right now, and a wicked yellow smile has just crossed her face.
Okay, well, look, I was just looking to make a deal. Otherwise, you'd be dead right now. So maybe we can come
she's
to an
looking-
agreement?
Immediately, the captain's eyes fall upon you and say, "Who are you?"
Well, I am the person, okay, who can give you the gray books. Is that what you said?
The gray hooks.
Yeah,
Immediately, the gas fades away, goes behind the captain, and foomp, comes back to full materialization. What do you know of the gray hooks?
Oh, I know all kinds of things.
Gray
like,
rooks. Huh.
We're like this. Actually, it'd be more like this. So you wanted them, right? I heard you talking.
She smiles at you. I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Mother shit fucker. Okay.
Humans?
Just as you can see the kids being led up behind
I
you.
use inspiration? No. 18.
Keep the streak going.
Yeah, that was a
Come
deep sigh.
on.
I'm struggling here. Give me 1 sec.
Level 6. Level 6.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Sorry. I was looking through my notes. You had an 18?
Yeah.
Wisdom 13.
Atta girl.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather come with us? She says. But no.
No, I don't want to come with you. You got the witches going to eat these people.
She whispers to the captain. He nods at two people next to him. Take her with the others.
Do you want the grey horse or not?
Two burleys come up next to you.
Okay, easy. I was just trying to make a deal here. I thought you wanted the Greyhawks. They trust me. I can get them for you.
I want the gray hooks.
Okay, so back off.
Maybe it'll be useful to get the gray hooks in other ways, she says to you.
I don't think you know what you're talking about. Otherwise, no. When I said we were like this, I didn't mean that. I meant kind of like this.
Okay, so the two burleys are up behind you, and each one is going to attempt to grab you by the shoulder and arm.
Jeez.
I already used both Misty Steps getting to cross the ship. Okay.
We can say that it was at least 45 minutes within the ranks of these children, so you can consider that a short rest if you'd like.
Okay. So,
all of you, in fact, in the pursuit, had that chance if you wish to take it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm going to use Misty Step then to get away.
Okay. Around you, what you see is this. Strangely, the boat has docked nose first into a bay. You can see this from your position up on the forecastle. There is a long dock on the starboard side of the boat, where usually it would be on the other side, the port side. On the other side of that small dock, say 6 feet across, and it looks well built. You see 3 masts coming up from the water, as if there's a boat on the other side which is fully submerged. The children are being led down, are being led out of the hold and down a ramp onto this dock, and a long line of them are now extending out off the edge of the dock into what looks like sort of a grassy clearing that's amongst a lot of craggy rocks. On the other side of that sunken boat, in the faint starlight, you see a large rocky cliff that heads almost straight up out of the water, and forms the one entryway of the doorway into this mincemeat bay. And you can see sparse trees, pines and juniper and cedar up on that high perch. It's at least 60 to 80 feet as the bird flies straight above you. There, on the other side of this grassy clearing, there is a bunch of forest. And then you can see multicolored torches around the clearing and illuminating a path that has a series of cutbacks that heads up and out of this bowl and seems to disappear into the wooded area at the crest of this large rocky escarpment.
Okay. So, let me tell you my plan, and you can tell me how or if this is even possible.
Sure.
What I would like to do is use Misty Step to get into the water and then try and hide in the water until they give up looking for me, and then I can start trying to follow where they're going.
Okay. The water you can see around you as you are being held is off to your left. You're looking at out the back of the boat, so you can see. You can look sort of both ways, but you can see any of the water that's on the far side of the boat. This would be the left side of the boat. You can see most of the water that's out towards the mouth of the bay. You can see the water that surrounds these three masts with this sunken craft, and that's sort of any of the water that you can take a look at. You can see water that's along the rocky edges of this. Some of it on the shallower side near the grass it has waves coming into it.
Okay. If I'm close enough to the other ship, this seems like a good place to hide. If I can...
Okay, so you've got the choice of three masts there, one of which has a crow's nest on the top.
Oh, let's use that one.
Okay, so you Misty Step suddenly, and the Oni is somewhat surprised as you go to vapor, and you look over your shoulder, go to vapor. She begins to scan, and you immediately do you appear in the water or on top of the water and then sort of descend into it?
I'd rather be just in.
Okay, so you are behind the main mast, which is quite big around even where you are, and it's your small frame. You're able to tuck yourself in behind it.
I'm just gonna.
The wood is black and almost rocky. Feels ancient and strange. Not like normal wood. It's kind of like it's almost petrified. Okay. Immediately, you hear the captain go, "God damn it, get her! Where did she go? Post guards!" And you can see more torches lit, and some of the crew, following his advice, begin to scan the water below. The Oni kind of growls and then giggles and said, "Oh, you're a moron," to the captain. And walks down boldly, hops over the rail, and sort of starts ruffling heads of children as she trudges up to the head of the line. She says, "Wherever you are, sweetie, we'll be seeing you again."
Probably.
Here we are. The boat. Actually, before we do, what you begin to see is that the children begin to be marshaled up the trail. There seems to be a game of drawing straws going on among the crew that are watching them. And they all find it kind of hilarious when two of them draw the short straw and their compatriots say, "Ugh. Son, good luck." "Yeah, you're gonna need it." "Hey, Cypre, good luck with the hags, eh, boy?" "I hate those damn hags." And the two of them head to the front of the line. Come on, whelps. And they take hold of this kind of green chain. Before they do, the one bulkier guy hands a small green amulet to the man in the lead. He puts it around his head and goes, "Oh, gods, I hate this." You also catch wind of one of them saying, "Farn was found dead down there. Be on your guard. That little one they're looking for, she looks like she's got teeth." "Ah, don't worry about it," says the Oni. "Come on." And she leads the way. One of the sailors turns to the other and says, "I don't like her either. Just keep moving." Back at the sword. As the boat has now twisted and is turned around and then begins to settle again, you're about 60, 70 feet or so from the closest part of the shore as it's kind of swinging around its anchor, and now it's kind of settled again. Immediately in front of the ship where you turned in, there is a huge rocky escarpment. Okay, that's ahead of you, and now I guess if you're facing into the island, it's on your left. B, you're in the water. Are you looking to get back up on deck? Or...
Can I see what the child on the shore looks like?
Not super well. They're sort of high up on the shore. It appears as though they're sort of coming down from that rocky escarpment and that rocky knoll, and they're kind of standing there looking at you. What you can see in with your vision is blonde hair or very light hair, sort of a light silvery blonde, and kind of an inquisitive look on her face, and a big kind of smile, and wearing a kind of sackcloth tunic with simple pants on, woolen pants, a belt, pouches, these kind of things, and she's sitting there and she's slowly ambling towards the boat. And then she holds up a hand and she holds up a hand as if to say, like to wave and say hello. She's still quite a ways off.
Okay. I'm going to throw a couple of hand signals up to Rook and start. Can I see the children walking, or can they only see that
so
from the
this
boat?
is, so you can't see any of that happening.
Okay.
The boat in front of you turned hard. But they were still far enough in front of you that when they turned, they disappeared around the other side of this rocky escarpment.
So I'm going to throw a couple of hand signals up to Rook to get everybody to come around that. And I'm going to turn myself invisible and go around and try and see if I can see the other boat, like around where, like I'm going to swim around.
All right. So the swim is going to be not insignificant. The water where you're at, this island in this fog rises up very abruptly. Just so you're aware, you have lots of water down below you. If the fall of the anchor taught you anything, you're in 80 to 100 feet of water easily. Okay.
Oh yeah, then I'm gonna try and get back up on the boat.
Okay. No, I mean I don't mind if you want to swim around, but FYI.
No, not if there's that much water.
So you are a rope ladder is thrown over the edge, and some of the crewmen help you up. They reach down with the blunt end of harpoons and halberds, and are helping you up, and see you onto the deck. And one of them even brings you a woolen blanket to wrap up in.
Thank you. And then I'm gonna walk over by Rook.
Okay.
You know, you're wet again. I just use prestidigitation. She's dry.
Okay. Roof dry.
You smack his arm.
Okay.
But it's not my fault. You're supposed to know what I'm doing before I do it. Come on. I'm going to just take a look toward where the other ship is. You said it's about 60, 70 feet away from us and also docked?
You can't see it.
Oh. Okay.
You Membaris says your friend is on the other side of that mound. And they've stopped. So he drops his locate person because it's.
I'll just look at the captain with this like.
I'm gonna look at Rook and go, she's useless, just make a decision.
The captain indeed appears fairly useless. She goes down sort of near where Geen is sitting, and she just slumps down into the rope and
then
know,
I'm gonna.
Her crewmen are coming over and try to comfort her.
I'm gonna look at another crewmate and go, just take her to her cabin.
Yep, and which they do. They move her across. In fact, Threnna, one of the kitchen witches, takes her up in her arms and carries her back. Come on, love, she says, and carries her back towards her. We'll fit you.
Does our ship have rowboats?
No, you. Oh yes, pardon me. You do have two small rowboats.
Okay.
They're both lashed to the back end of the boat.
All right. Let's head to the rowboats.
I agree.
Okay.
One more thing before we do. I walk over to Geen. Are you just like leaning over the side of the railing?
I have been standing 10 feet from that door this entire time, looking at the deck, the floor of the deck, shaking, and just not paying attention to a single thing that has been happening.
Whack! Stop paying attention. More people are going to be dead. Push that other shit to the side. You can deal with it later. Get in the boat and help save Runt. Priorities. Like I said, stop using this. Start using this. I don't have time for you. And I walked back to B, and I'm looking at B like, what are you, born yesterday? Like, let's go. Like,
I'm like tapping his arm to be like, shh.
The crew have lowered both boats by the nose down. They've passed rope so that both boats are now on the side that you fell off, B, and the rope ladder that was extended down to you is now directly underneath one, or above one.
I'm heading towards the boat.
So that's ready, but I still want you to continue with this interaction here, just to let you know that the boat's being taken care of. Geen, Rogar.
I'm staring at Rook.
I'm just going to turn around and start trying to help with the boat, or to head toward the boat.
Okay.
I'll just pass by B and be like, I mean, was that too hard? I don't know, whatever. And then keep going.
Okay. B, you're lowering yourself off the rope.
I'm going to call over as I'm lowering myself off, saying, you two better hurry up. We don't have a whole lot of time.
How many feet down is the boat from the deck?
Say 15?
I jump off, slow fall. I jump off and land in the boat.
Okay, you're the first one in the boat. Ba-dump. Do you want to be on the one that's under the ladder or the other one?
I want whatever the one B's getting on.
Okay, it's the one under the ladder. She's there when your foot hits the ground. You turn around and Keen is standing there.
Probably watched her over.
Okay. A couple of oars are passed down. Now, these boats can take 4 of you each, right? So, Rogar? Although Rogar makes it dicey.
Is Griffaro still around?
He sure is. And he's got his war hammer out, and he's starting down the boat. And Bilk is at your belt.
Well, the 3 of us make 4 people, so...
Yep. And then some. So you make 4.2.
Probably go to the other boat.
Yeah.
Push
So
two.
you're now all in the boats, and oars are passed down to you. 60 feet off the shore. Beyond 60, but a little bit beyond to mount around this thing. What would you like to do?
Start rowing
Where would you like to go?
around where we lost the ship.
Are we going
Okay.
in the water, or are we going to go straight to land, go over?
Or go towards
That
where
sounds
Runt
better.
was pointed out.
Yep. So that will take you as that rocky escarpment comes down. You can see a trail that heads up to it, which this young girl came over. And as you row towards that spot, that crotch, where that escarpment is coming out, or that kind of natural cliff is formed, a flaxen-haired, strawberry blonde girl in sackcloth stands waiting for you, smiling, motioning you in.
I'm gonna stand behind Brooke a little bit.
Sure, your boats.
As a precaution, I'm knocking an arrow.
Sure, you run it. Your boats are now at the shoreline. You're able to get off on this pebbly, rock-strewn coastline. She stands up near the forest edge.
Who are you?
You're not quite to her yet. She just sort of giggles and says, just waves. She appears to be about, now that you're closer, 12, maybe? Scuffed
Where
with
the-
dirt.
Where are the children?
She points over the mound.
Is there an easy way to get up past her?
You don't need to get past her. You haven't gotten to her yet. She's still about 24, 25 feet up on the bank.
Okay.
I have my hand on my rapier. I'm pretty wary of this 12-year-old who suddenly appeared.
Sure. Yep, so she just seems to be waiting for you at the edge of this path. And then she turns and she starts to sort of walk a little bit, and then she turns back towards you and motions, come. But you're still a fair amount away. You're still at your boats. So you got to tell me what you want to do.
Oh, we're still in the boats. Oh, okay.
Yeah, run it ashore and get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So out you get. She stands waiting as you guys make your way up.
Do we see Runt?
You do not see Runt. Although you wouldn't be in this darkness, Geen, you wouldn't be out of your mind to not notice a certain resemblance.
As we get to the shore and everyone collects, I'm going to tap Geen and Rogar and give them dark vision.
Dark vision.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you can see her, Rogar and Geen, it's clearly not Runt, but not far off. No, I don't mean like it could be a classmate. Let's put it that way. How's that sound?
Same age, same hair color.
Same age, similar hair color. Not quite as blonde as Runt, but reminiscent of her. Dirty clothes, a little bit torn. Smiling, inquisitive though.
Yeah, I am going to. Yeah, I've got one hand on the rapier, and Rook has got one hand in his jacket, sort of to the right, and looks like he's making like a little bit of a fist, and he's grabbing something. And in Celestial, I'll just start talking the same little like word, like I guess it's like almost like a prayer, like just a habit that he does all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand Celestial.
So if you can hear me, you would hear shield others' eyes and keep me keen, over and over and over and over.
Just a saying, or are you casting something?
No, it's just a saying. He just does
Sure.
it as it's like a like a teddy bear.
She looks at you kind of inquisitively because you're getting closer and closer, and she can see that you're all fairly tough and you've got hands on weapons and stuff. And she goes, "Oh," like this. Sort of like, "Oh, like you're so tough," kind of like this. And now you're right up to her, and she just sort of stands there regarding all of you.
I'll have sword drawn, shield put on my other arm, and pass her.
"Where's you going?" she says. "We gotta go see Nanny. We gotta go see the aunties. They're gonna love yous. But you don't need the sharp stuff. They don't like it. Here." And that's where we're gonna stop.
Oh.
Wait, like we can tell that, like, can we understand that this girl is supposed to look like Runt, or just
She doesn't.
she looks very similar to Runt. That's it.
Well, I would just say that she's a young girl. She's a young 12-year-old girl. It's not like she looks like Runt's twin or anything like that.
It's just a note that this is the second person that looks like a young female child.
That's just it. It's just a kid. Okay.
On a strange island.
Here we go.
Waving.
All right. So
Oh.
let's get to them beans. What do you say?
It's time for the magic beans. Ho! It's time for the magic beans.
We're gonna change that.
Time for the magic. Time for the magic. Let's see who gets the magic beans.
Let's see who gets the magic beans. Same order as we introduced. So, Geen, Becca, and then Noelle, Brad, and Shady. Pardon me, Luna, Becca, Noelle, Brad, and Shady. I get you guys so mixed up with your characters sometimes. Go into it. Luna.
My bean is going to Shady for trying to intimidate the mean lady and having the balls to do it.
100%.
Awesome. 100%. There you go. And any of you who are following along as usual, we're going to put up the ability for you to vote your favorites. So, Becca.
Same. It is going to go to Shady for Runt having some big ones to take on the mean lady.
Great. 2 for Shady. That'll take us to you there, Noelle.
Well, mine's gonna go to Geen for letting me slap her without hitting me with a stunning strike right afterward.
Okay.
And also being able to play the completely just bereft character for the first half of like a stone cold silent type. Because
yeah, that's throwing.
I didn't know how I was gonna get her out of that. I was like, come on!
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's an awakening for her. No one has ever done that to her before.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the stunning strike when I'm asleep, but I sleep my eyes open.
So Runt, that takes you to inspiration +5 so far. Geen, you're now +7. And Brad.
Runt as well for confounding the GM.
Confounding me. Absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah.
There's one point where you gave this deep sigh, and I was like, "Oh no, what did I do?"
Yeah.
No, I mean the dice did it. But it's I get scared for you guys.
Can I just take a bean off now for almost killing my sister under a boat, or how are we going about this?
Such a jerk.
I'm surprised he didn't jump off after her or just show a little bit more concern for her well-being.
She's
I
fine,
got the feeling it's happened before.
Yeah.
It has.
It's dark out and we're on a boat and there's air above her. She's fine.
She'll be fine.
This is totally normal.
So Shady, you've got the 3, so cast the last bean for us.
I'm gonna go with Geen. One, for not killing for poor Bilk, because I was afraid she was going to, and also for being completely gobsmacked for like the whole first half.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So we got 2 going to Geen, 3 going to Runt, and 1 by way of Twitch goes to Noel, who's on the board.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row.
I think that's just like
The note here is for taking charge. Seems to be the consensus. So there you go. All right. Well, that's it. Before we go, we got one little bit of news. If any of you got anything going on that you want to share, you're more than welcome every week. This week, I know that Noel's got something he wants to lay down on everybody. Everybody's watching.
So November 7th, it's just in Vancouver, but it's also all over Discord if you want to join. But it's called Roll for Relief, and it's a Canada-based charity for like reading and just like pushing Canadian artists into the spotlight for books and fiction and whatnot. So you can actually join and donate and play in one of their games or DM one of them if you give them a quick email. So I think we got the link up somewhere. Or if not,
we sure do.
Yeah, there it is.
The link is at the bottom of your screen. So
head there if you want to play through Discord with a cool little charity event on November 7th.
Great. Roll for Relief. So thanks very much for that, Noel. If that's it, I guess we're ready to say so long for the week, unless there's anything from anybody else. No takers?
Sweet.
Awesome. And
Halloween.
next week is Halloween, so we're going to be it'll be a special event. So tune in, and then we'll pick this story up later.